tell us a little bit about your company and what's going on now. I have to believe the pace of change is just accelerating dramatically.
It is. So I joke, we've been talking about AI for 7 or 8 years, not 7 or 8 months. Yeah. When we did our IPO 11 quarters ago, our banner was data plus AI equals intent. Yep. And that's what we've been talking about. This is timely. We yesterday put out our earnings release, and our growth rate we've now shown is accelerating over last year, which was accelerating over the year before. So
nice position to be in, and you're one of the most successful IPOs in your category in the last decade or so.
Well, it's a low bar, but yes, we've done very well. We still are trading even now at a substantial multiple discount to most of the companies in our category. I think because of the class of IPOs we went out with was a tough class. But
now you're going to start to trade on your real performance and your real growth prospects.
We hope so. Yeah. We'll see. The reality is that what we're really doing is using artificial intelligence and our proprietary data to help enterprises more efficiently and effectively run their marketing.
And I think your time has come, David, because as the toll on the internet has increased fairly dramatically in the last few years, companies have to find a more effective and thoughtful way of connecting with their customers and the broader community who they'd like to be their customers. How are you helping companies to get to those customers?
Well, Jim, it's as usual, you're right on. What we saw was when people were moving from linear to digital, there was an intrinsic savings that people were able to enjoy, and they were like, great, that's over. Digital's now in many cases more expensive than linear.
Well, knowing your family background, is everything old new again? Will people be trying to put things in the mailbox again?
Well, it's funny, very, very few people would remember that about my dad being in the direct mail business, but my stepfather. But the reality is, I'm not sure we're going back to mail, but what I will tell you is there's no question that using our data and our AI allows you to get further down the marketing funnel and get to the people who are actively buying your products and, by the way, can afford them and will be credit approved for them. So all of those sort of pivots and the ability to get to hyper targeting is how we get to efficiency. And the artificial intelligence allows us to do that. So one of the things we talked about yesterday, and I think you know, I hosted 2 of the AI panels, the private conference over the weekend, and then the public conference yesterday, which you can see online, where I did one of the AI panels. Really what we're talking about is so many companies are promising AI. One of the unique things about Zeta Global is we're actually generating meaningful revenue and accelerated revenue and profit growth from it.
How do you counsel your clients in terms of what role would useful, beneficial content play in their dialogue with their customers?
Quality content has never been more important. I read Worth magazine myself, right? So when you think about it, how are you going to get to your target demographic? And it's not just shoving it in their face, right? It's making sure that you're coming to them in what I would call a really native environment, where people are going to sort of gravitate towards the things they're interested in. And if you can get in front of them in places where they're interested, it's going to be better than if you're in front of them in a place where they have no interest whatsoever.
So it's earning their attention.
Yeah, well, it's, as my friend Esther Dyson says, we're in sort of the attention economy, right? Where people in many cases are willing to trade their entire life for nothing more than attention. That's why social media networks exist, right? And it's very, very interesting what's happened there. Premium content in an AI world is going to become more and more important, where, AI is going to be able to generate content that's of interest to people because it's going to know what you're interested in, and it's going to be able to get to that topic. But that Sunday morning with a cup of coffee sit down, where, I don't know about you, I still Sunday morning sit down with the publications I'm super interested in. I have a cup of coffee. I have 3 older kids and 2 younger kids, as you know, so normally people are jumping on me while I'm doing this. But it's never been more important to me personally.
I think that wife ought to behave and not be jumping all over.
Right?
me.
I mean, if Kristen would just stop that.
What's next for Zeta Global?
We have rolled out a build your own intelligent AI agent platform. It's a lot to say.
Yeah.
To our clients, but what we literally said.
You're a marketing genius. You can't name it something?
Right? I was going to say, I don't know if I'm a genius, but we could come up with a better name. We are calling it intelligent agents for short. But literally, it allows our clients, marketers, not technical people, people like you and me, to literally build their own data scientists using their own data. It allows them to build their own process engine. So by way of example, our internal platform, one of our people built an intelligent agent to better onboard clients' data, and it lowered the onboarding rate by 400 man hours per client, and they built it in 37 minutes.
That's incredible.
Yeah. We had one client build an agent that allowed them to figure out what their most valuable underserved audience were in 45 minutes and lower their cost to create customers
Just
by
using
50%.
their data.
Just using their data and our intelligent AI builder.
Now, you had a product that was like the world's largest, most informed database of consumers.
Data cloud.
Data
Come on,
cloud.
Tim. We're in 2024 here. We're
So tell me about your data cloud. How big is it? What kinds of information are you appending to make it more usable and better for the consumer?
Yeah, technically we're third. Google and Facebook are bigger than us. We're third to them. I know.
Yeah.
All right, who are they? What I would say is what we're doing is we have 240 plus million Americans who have opted in to be in our data cloud, and we're using their behaviors, their transactions, everything. But unlike any other data clouds, we never sell our clients' data at any price to anybody at any time. We keep all of that data totally private and totally secure. Yeah. We just use it to build intent-based models on what people are going to intend to do next, so we can either help clients to create new customers more cost effectively or lower their churn. We can build multiple use cases and we can activate across almost any marketing channel at this point.
Wow, so I assume what you said on your quarterly earnings call is that the future looks pretty bright, and I'm getting the impression you think so.
Well, we did raise our guidance pretty materially.
Did you? Good for you.
From a revenue and an EBITDA and an earnings perspective. And we continue to focus on solving our clients' biggest problems.
Well, there's certainly demand, as you pointed out in your comments. The rules have changed kind of dramatically, and not many people have figured that out. They're still going down that rat hole.
For sure. And as we say, we're one of the organizations that we think is using AI in a very creative, a very good way to help enterprises more efficiently manage their marketing.
So early to AI, early to big data and its effective use. A year from now, when we reconvene here or someplace else at the Milken Institute Global Conference, what do you think the hot buzz will be about AI, and what's the other new one that we're not talking about yet?
Well, so first of all, I hope it doesn't take another year to see you.
I hope so too.
As we just said, we're projecting this year to the rule of 43, right? So we're projecting 24% top line growth organically and a 19% operating margin. So we're there, we're seeing the results flow in. What I would tell you is the next big leap is going to be quantum computing and how that really affects AI in a whole new way. I'm not sure we'll be talking about it next year, but what I think we're seeing now is we're seeing AI in an environment where anybody who's saying they're AI is raising capital, right? And I think we saw this a little bit with the dot-com boom. I think we saw it with the telecom boom. You and I are old enough to remember those things. Now, remember, the dot-com boom produced Amazon, Apple, Google,
Facebook.
Some of the greatest companies in history came out of that. I mean, some had started before, but it really accelerated them and took them to the juggernauts that they are. I think we're going to see the same thing here, but at the same time, I think you're going to see some companies
fall away.
Yes.
Good. quantum computing will be on the rise at this conference next year?
I don't know if it'll be next year, but certainly in the next 3 to 5 years. And it's real.
Will it exaggerate the power discussion about electricity?
Oh yeah, I mean, there was an article today on how we're going to have to start pairing nuclear with data centers, I believe in the Wall Street Journal, or one of the 5 publications I read this morning. But you know, the reality is that we're going to have to get more power efficient. But if you think of a mobile phone, if we put a processor that's in a phone today into a phone just 10 years ago, it would have blown up from heat explosion. So heat disbursement, power, chips drawing less power, Moore's law, Bezos's law, these are all going to help us, because we're not going to be able to create far more power the way we need to do it. We're going to have to get more efficient with it, and we're going to have to figure out how to better manage our power grid.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you do in the next year, and seeing you before next year, but again here next year.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, David.